It's the SWP Disciple. As you can see, about 76 miles away from terra firma, Springfield. So gonna run home, powder my nose, shower up real quick, and then run into work. So boom, boom, boom morning. I'll make it quick. So nice weekend in Western Mass, Braintree, of all places. Comedy show was great. Hung out, had a good time. Again, this might be a video that I either won't put up or won't put up immediately. It's been a strange week or two. Things I can't quite talk about. Oh, it looks like it's about to rain. Yeah, swing over here. I've got like a 70-mile straightaway on the Mass Pike heading west. So there's like a funny short video on Instagram, probably Facebook as well, right? Because it's all meta. Where this cat, how did somebody get up there to do that graffiti? Limo. Some dangerous cats out there, dangerous themselves. And he talks about Panera bread, which I like. It's funny though, because the point's taken. Where he's like, I'm paraphrasing. He's like, it's shocking, amazing how like blah Panera bread food is. And he's like, it's just, it tastes like St. Paul, Minnesota, or Rochester, New York. So he's saying it's basically like any town, New York, or any town, USA. And it tastes like I don't know, Swedish hospital food, which is funny. I think that's what he says. So it's just kind of like blah. Now, I like their turkey melts and minestrone soup and just regular, like almost like hospital food. But it's good though. And their claim to fame, oh, that's a nice scat pack. And their claim to fame is that it's like, it's all natural. It's expensive though. Like you can go there for two people and easily spend like $40. It's kind of like almost like Chipotle. Like Chipotle is like 99% rice, and they charge you extra for chicken and guacamole and all that or whatever, and it can quickly get expensive. But it's like it's kind of like fast food, but like not really. But it's like this is just kind of like sustenance. It's not even like fancy food or anything. And again, I like Chipotle. That's like the irony of it. A lot of people, if you were to get a Q rating of what food do you like, in terms of like just mass-produced like fast-ish food, Panera bread, Chipotle gets high marks, Chick-fil-A, places like that. But anyway, is this life? So obviously, I'm mourning the apparent loss of what it looks like will be like the love of my life. Still waiting, hoping, praying, but it's not looking too good. And I'm also 45, right? So I don't have like a lot of time. In the meantime, certain blocks are falling into place. Someone who was really important to me from my past. It'll knock your socks off, but I can't really talk about it here, at least not yet. And come back like in a major way, in addition to the normal like orbiters or whatever. But as you know, I'm not a ladies' man. I'm not trying to juggle anything. My heart is still very much set on that that person. But you can't turn a blind eye because you can snap your fingers. Ooh, that was a good snap. I'm not good at snapping either. And you wake up one day and you're like 50, and it's virtually game over. Especially because I have no family yet or anything, or a family of my own anyway. But that Vine or that short video that I'm sure if you put it into Meta and you just search like Panera bread, it'll probably come up because it's really funny and it has a lot of views. And then he's like, Panera bread, it's just and that's kind of what it is. And the funny thing about it is this lady who's come back into my life after a long period of time, like it's very apparent what's happened, right? So again, I can't get into it, but ostensibly long ago she left me for a cat that pretty much she kind of gave me like the abridged version of the story, basically played her and ate up a huge amount of time. Like, you know, she says 6 years. I know the timeline. It's more like 8 or 9, but like whatever, you know, it's nothing nefarious. People make the best decisions that they can with the information that they're presented with in the time. And then, like, you know, what happens. And, you know, she's kind of come back. No mea culpa, no apology or anything like that. Just kind of like, it's, you know, this is what it is. I'm back, and it's great. But at the same time, like, if you know me, I'm kind of like an anal retentive, like, you know, reading the body language and everything. I can tell that it's like, you know, her socks are not knocked off. My socks are not knocked off. You know, it can possibly grow into that. Obviously, there's a certain amount of trauma involved and stuff. But it's just kind of like, you know, you're here. You're nothing spectacular. But you are always kind and understanding. Like, you know, my usual hallmarks, you know, nice guy, blah, 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 which I'm growing to, like, not like that term, because it's like one of those things where it's like it's kind of necessary, but at the same time, you don't get extra points for it. And it's just kind of like, you know, there's a possibility that we can, you know, we can do life together or whatever. You're not my dream guy. At this point, I'm probably not your dream girl, at least not anymore, because, like, you know, obviously things happen. And, you know, for all the hurt and the trauma, like, I'm glad in a lot of ways things have turned out the way that they did, you know, because I wouldn't have met, you know, New Jersey. But at the same time, it's like, damn, I feel like my ceiling just over time has just been kind of like beaten down. Is that a word, beaten? It's 8:45 in the morning. Like, my brain hasn't quite fired up. I'm just driving off of like memory and the tractor beat in my mind that takes me back to Springfield. But yeah, it's like, you know, life's kind of beating me down, and like I realize that, like, you know, that Disney fairy tale is likely not going to happen, and that might be okay, you know, because like how many people is that really happening for? Again, happening, is that a word? Yeah. I have a pretty close friend actually who I met here over the years, and you know, we kind of had some semblance of this chat like a year or two ago, and it was kind of like, you know, that Chris Rock movie with, what's her name? Is it? I can't remember. Is her name? No, it's not Melissa D'Souza. Like, she's from Best Man, but damn, she's like Afro-Latina. It has Kerry Washington. It's, you know, I Think I Love My Wife. And that's kind of like the running theme, where it's like, you know, the young adventurous girl that he knew back in like college or whatever, and then she kind of comes back into his life and damn near derails everything and gets him divorced and screws his life up, whatever. But like, it kind of infuses him with that verve and that excitement. And it's like, this was kind of his dream girl like many years ago. You know, it didn't happen. You know, she went and, like, you know, married rich or whatever, but like now she's kind of like back in kind of like her wild girl phase or whatever, and chooses him as like the vehicle to facilitate all that. And she's like in DC, and she's like, hey, come fly out and meet me, and we can, you know, let the good times roll type of thing or whatever. And then he, you know, hilarity ensues, and he damn near ends his like his very comfortable life, and, you know, forges like an argument with his wife just so he can be temporarily kicked out. And he's like, every single day it's just chicken, and she's like, what's wrong with chicken? You love chicken. And he's like, I'm going out of my ever loving, you know, chicken or clucking mind or whatever he says. I'm just saying this off of memory or whatever. And basically, like, you know, stages like an argument so he can be temporarily like kicked out or whatever, so he can go and run off with this girl. And then he realizes, like, oh, I think I love my wife. I want my old life back. It's not fantastic, but it's a good life type of thing. And it's like, I feel like my life is barreling that way. And again, I keep like cutting my own story off. I have a pretty good friend who kind of said the same thing, and he's like almost like working his way into a lovely marriage with his wife. And like, you know, obviously he cares about her and loves her and everything like that, but it's like, you know, the connection is not as like simpatico or 100% as it could be, but at the same time, it's a good thing, And it's like, damn, is this what it's all, I guess cracked up to be, or this is, I guess what I've been earmarked for. That's a big word in the financial world. I train reps on financial plans and financial strategy, and we talk about earmarking funds all the time, whether it's for college or for annuity income or for like HSAs that pay for medical bills, blah blah blah. And basically, you set it aside from your regular retirement funds or whatever, so it can only be spent for a particular purpose, and it like kind of grows on its own and is spent down dollar for dollar on its own. You get the point. And I'm like, damn, a few times in my life I've had, just kind of like that great love. This one, the greatest of all, it appears. And of course, I can't have it. And then the irony is a former great love from like years ago. Obviously, time has eroded it. And there's now a storyline where, ran off with this other guy, he had his way with her until he got tired of her, essentially, and then kind of threw her back to the streets, more or less. And then now she's back to me. And obviously, I don't necessarily look a gift horse in the mouth, but it's hard not to, to kind of, do the due diligence and check on things and reappraise things, especially since I'm in the, I don't know if afterglow is not the word, but the aftermath of a previous situation that was like, it was right there. It was right there, just about to propose and everything. And I don't know, man. I just kind of have like this, empty's not the word, but it's definitely not fulfilled. And yeah, it tastes like Panera bread. Still good. You can still win, I guess, but it's like definitely like lowered ceiling, right? It's not a Michelin like 4-star or 5-star. It's gonna get you by. You'll be healthy. It's not gonna kill you. It's not gonna necessarily have a whole bunch of like GMOs in it. It'll taste pretty decent, but it's like it's also not necessarily what you dreamt of. Debating whether I'll put this up. I feel like the thoughts just flowed, and obviously part of the charm of my channel, as it were, which I've largely shut down these last couple of years. I just kind of check in every now and again. Because my ex hated this, which is a good part of the reason why I apparently lost her. But the thoughts really flowed here, and I also had another event that happened. It actually, I guess, happened in March, but I just found out about it in the past week. I don't know if I'll say anything about it. A bit of retribution, I suppose, but again, I'm not a man of vengeance, so it's like it leaves me feeling kind of empty again. Another theme of my life. Sometimes when you win, you don't really win. But yeah, Panera bread. Anyway, let me enjoy the rest of this drive and listen to a basketball podcast. They're really dragging out this finals. The game 2 is not until tomorrow, and Thursday was game 1, right? So Friday, Saturday. I guess 2 days in between is not crazy. It does feel like the last couple days were particularly long, but of course I was doing stuff and still working. Part of the benefit of being able to work from home is I can be on the road and still work and not have to take PTO. But yeah, nice foray into Eastern Mass. My favorite part of the United States. Braintree, very informative, instructive, and yeah, about to be in work in I don't know, about 75, 80 minutes. But let's enjoy the drive. Let's enjoy the rain. There's some allegory there. The Lord is faithful. Stay with me. God bless.